Hello, boys and girls. It is Fido Day 10, Friday, March 27th. Let's take a look at our sheet here, what we need to be doing. We need to add mixed numbers today. We're going to use our note pages, Chapter 9, Lesson 11. It looks like this. It's right on the bottom of the Lesson 9 notes I gave you. See it there on the bottom? If you need help finding that, pause the video if you need time. And we're also going to be on page 678. We're not going to do 677. We're going to start with example 2 today on 678. So we're going to be looking at adding mixed numbers. We're going to complete page 678 together today. You guys are going to work on 679, 680, numbers 2 through 15. And then you're going to do page 681. And that's going to be the page I want you to take a picture of and email it to me. All right, see it there? All right. Let's take a look at these notes first. If you don't have your Lesson 11 notes from your gold packet out in front of you, please pause the video and get to the Lesson 11 notes. Okay, here we go. Adding mixed numbers. When you're going to add a mixed number, you're going to have whole numbers with fractions attached to them. That's what a mixed number is. We've talked about that in class together. When you go to add them, you're going to separate the fractions from the whole numbers. And you're going to add the fractions first and simplify them. Write them into simplest form. After you have the fractions added up and you wrote it in simplest form, you're going to add all of the whole numbers. Then you're going to take the whole number sum and put it in front of the fraction sum. Take a look at the example I have here for you today. 3 3/8 plus 2 1/2. We separate step 1. We're going to add 3/8 plus 1/2. We change the denominators into 8. We don't have to do anything to 3/8 to make the denominator an 8. However, on 1/2, we had to multiply the top and the bottom by 4 to get 4/8. Now we're going to add them. They're like fractions. 3 plus 4, 7. Keep the denominator the same and 8. So that's step 1. We added the fraction parts from our mixed number. We added them together and we got 7/8. And 7/8 is in simplest form. The second part is to add all whole numbers. So we're going to take the 3 whole number and the 2 whole number and add them together to get 5. And the final step then is to put the 5, the whole number, with the fraction as our sum, 5 7/8. Take a look at this second example. Oh my goodness, what's Mrs. Steve got us doing there? Let's take a look. We're going to separate 9/10 from 9 9/10. We're going to separate 3/5 from 7 3/5. And we're going to add our fractions together, boys and girls. We can make both denominators 10. Here, we don't have to change 9/10. It's already got a denominator that's 10. Here, we're going to multiply by 2 over 2 to make the 5 a 10 and the 3 a 6. So when we go to add these, we're going to add 9/10 plus 6/10. 9 plus 6 is 15. See it right there? We're going to put that 15 over that 10. Hey, wait a minute. This is an improper fraction. I can't leave it like this. I have to change it into a mixed number. So I put the 15 in, remember? Dividend, he sleeps on the top bunk, he runs into the house. Divisor stuck on the bottom bunk, he has to stay outside of the house. And I divide, and I get a remainder. I get 1 with a remainder of 5. I write that remainder as a fraction. I put the 5, the remainder on top, and the divisor on the bottom. So I have simplified this to 1 5/10. 1 5/10. So 15/10 is 1 5/10. However, I can do even more. I can write this with even smaller numbers if I divide the numerator and the denominator by their common factor 5. And then I'm left with 1 1/2. So let me write this over here. 9/10 plus 3/5 was 15/10, which is the same as 1 1/2. Everybody see that? Now, step 2 is to add all whole numbers. So we're going to add the 9 from 9 9/10. See it there? I listed it. We're going to add the 7 from 7 3/5. And do you see how there's a 1 on our answer over here? This is a whole number. We are going to put it in with our other 2 whole numbers. So the 15/10 created a third whole number of 1. So we add the 9 plus the 7 plus our 1 that we created when we added the fractions in step 1. 9 plus 7 is 16 plus 1 is 17. So when we add up all the whole numbers, we get 17, and we combine that 17 with our fraction right there of 1/2. I know that got a little bit crowded, but we're going to do a few more together right here on page 678. Leave your notebook out, open to those notes, and if you need time to turn to 678, go ahead and pause the video now. And we are looking right here at example 2 together, boys and girls. The diagram shows the length of this sea turtle. What is the total length of the sea turtle? So we're going to add up the length of his front flippers with the length of his body with the length of his neck to the tip of his snout. See that? So we're going to take our 3 fractions and add them together, boys and girls. And if you look at these 3 fractions, this one right in the middle, 1/4, does not have the same denominator as the other 2. The good news is we can turn this 4 into an 8 by multiplying by 2. And they show you right here how they did that in step 1. They changed 3 1/4 to 3 2/8. And then right here, they rewrite it all together. So the 7/8 for the front flippers, the 3 2/8 now that we changed the denominator and numerator for the body, and the 1 1/8 for the neck to the snout. And we're going to add those together. So the first thing we do is we add up the 7/8, the 2/8, and the 1/8 right here. And they do that for you. They show you that's 10/8. If we wanted to, and we have to, rewrite this improper fraction as a mixed number. 8 goes into 10 one time, that's 8. I get a leftover amount of 2. Leftover amount on top, 8 on the bottom. And you'll see they show you that right here. 1 2/8. Now it's time to combine all of our whole numbers. So we combine the 3 plus the 1 to get 4. And then the 4 plus the 1 from 1 2/8 to get 5. See that? That's how we get that 5. So it's 5 2/8. It's still not in simplest form though. We're real close. I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 on top is 1. 8 divided by 2 on bottom is 4. So we're going to copy down our 5, and we're going to copy down 2/8 in simplest form, which is 5 1/4. So the sea turtle is 5 1/4 feet long. Take a look at that real good. Pause it if you need to go back and look through it again on your own. Now we're going to go down to number 1 at the bottom of this page. Let me get myself adjusted here so that you guys can see. I hate how they did this. Yes, I said it. I hate how they separate. That's silly. We're going to scratch it all off. Yep, go ahead. Take out some of your frustrations. Don't tear the page when you do that, but scratch this all off. We aren't doing this. What are we going to do? Well, over here, we're going to do 3/8 plus 1/2. You guys are experts at that. Change that 2 into an 8. Multiply top and bottom by 4. So it's 3/8 plus 4/8. 3 plus 4 on top is 7. Keep the 8 on the bottom. This is our fraction amount. 7/8 is in simplest form because 7 is 1 away from 8. Mrs. Steve's tips to simplest form. Now, step 2, over here, we're going to add our whole numbers. 3 plus 2. We don't have a whole number on this answer over here because it wasn't an improper fraction. When we added, the numerator was still less than the denominator. So it's just going to be the 3 plus the 2, which is 5. We're going to put the 5 in front and the 7/8 in back. And that's our answer right there. Let's try one more together over here on the next page. Who am I kidding? I'll probably do 2 more with you, but that's okay. These ones are nice. They start up at the top kind of easy, so maybe we'll do number 2 and we'll do number 7 together. Number 2 is nice and easy because the denominators, when you pull out your fractions there, take a look, those denominators are already the same. So we're going to do 3 plus 1 on top is 4. Keep the 5 of 5 on the bottom. This is not improper, and this is in simplest form because 4 is 1 away from 5. Now we're going to add our whole numbers. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 goes in front, 4/5 goes behind. Let's try one more. Like I said, we're going to do number 7 together. Let me pull it over. There we go. 3 and 2, not the same denominator. I can make this 3 a 6. I can make this 2 a 6. So we're going to do that part first. 3 is made of 6 by multiplying by 2. So on top, I'm going to do 1 times 2, which is 2. 2 is made of 6 multiplied by 3. So on top, I'm going to multiply by 3 to get 5. Everybody okay there? Let's add these together. 2 plus 5 is 7. Keep the 6 on the bottom. Let's add, Mrs. Steve, hold up a second here. This is improper. I'm going to need to change that into a mixed number. So over here, my margin, 7. He sleeps on the top bunk, right? He's the guy that's kind of selfish. He sleeps on the top bunk. He goes in the house. The 6 has to sleep on the bottom, and he has to stay out of the house. How many 6s go into 7? 1. 1 left over. So we're going to put that 1 on top, and that 6 is still stuck on the bottom. So 7/6 is the same as 1 and 1/6. That's adding the fraction parts, step 1. Now we're going to come back and we're going to add all the whole numbers. I've got a 5, I've got a 6, and thanks to adding the fractions, I've got this 1. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. So I've got 12, and then my fraction amount is that 1/6. We okay? I think we're doing all right. Let's try one more together. Let's jump down. Let's do number 9. Last one. I like number 9 because I can make this smaller denominator into the bigger one. I can force an 4 to become an 8. How do I do that? I multiply by 2. But if I multiply that bottom by 2, I've got to multiply that top by 2 to get 6. 1/8 doesn't need to change. It's already got an 8 in the denominator. 6 plus 1 on top is 7. 8 stays on the bottom as 8. This is in simplest form. This is not improper. I can move on to my whole numbers. 6 plus 3 is 9. The 9 is in front of my 7/8. 7/8 is already in simplest form. So today for me, this Friday, you are going to finish page 679, and you're going to do page 680 through number 15. Number 15 is the second word problem you'll see here in your book. Number 15, right there. Okay? And then what are you going to email to me? Well, let's take a look at that. Here at the bottom of page 681, see 681, you're going to take a picture of that after you get it done and email it to me. Here is 681. You'll see there's 6 problems. Some of them, the denominators are already the same. Some of them, you've got to change the denominators to make them the same. Just looking at this carefully, you can make a 2 into an 8 on number 3. You can make a 5 into a 15 on number 5. You could make a 2 into a 20 on number 6. Please try to get rid of all improper fractions and also work really hard to write your answers in simplest form. If you have a question, please email me. You guys know my email by now. Gonna have it memorized, right? Amanda.steve@westernbeaver.org. If you have any issues, or if you're just doing really awesome, when you email me that page 681, just email me. I got this, Mrs. Steve. I am good to go. All right, take care. I miss you guys so much.